as a woman, you should be, if you want to sleep with a bunch of dudes, you're more than welcome to do it. You're free to do it. But what you're going to run into is guys are going to look at that. If we know that you had a promiscuous past, we're probably not going to take you seriously. Most men, for long-term commitment, for marriage, this is my wife, you slept with 50 dudes, it's a wrap.
Oh, yeah,
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
But the same thing
and
is,
most guys aren't even going to tell you that, though. Most guys can be like, babe, I don't care. I don't mind. Like, you can ask your friends, oh, I don't care about body count. Deep down in their
I know.
in their heart, it's going to be an issue. So you're free to do whatever you want. And men are also free to not want to wife you up, to not want to put a ring on your finger, to not take you seriously because of your past.
Mm-hmm.
Just like women have all sorts of standards, preferences, and boundaries for men, one of the preferences, standards, and boundaries that men have for women is, her past? Was she promiscuous? And for a lot of men, that's a big deal breaker.
And for a lot of women, it's not, because we have been taught that it's okay for men to partake in that hookup culture and to rack their body count up as much as they can. Not that it's okay, because we did have this talk last time. We are allowed to have our own standards, but a lot of us as women look past those standards because of the society's norms of men, that they're allowed to do that and it's okay for them. And I think that's where the real issue is, not whether it's okay or whether it's not okay, but whether, like, how we're looking at it, really.
Well, yeah, there's definitely a double standard, 100%. I think there's biological reasons for that. So, I mean, well, there's biological and evolutionary reasons why men care about a woman's past promiscuity or current promiscuity, and women care less. I think for a guy, if he's promiscuous and he's sleeping with a lot of women, that means he can get women. Women are kind of attracted. If a guy can get a lot of girls, that says something about him.
Yeah, but girls,
he's attractive.
Plenty of guys will get with like any girl, kind of. Is that what you're saying? That like as a girl,
well,
it's really easy to get like any guy to like want to have sex with you, but as a guy, it's like really hard to get a lot of girls to want to.
That's a great point.
So it's just showing. Is that what you meant?
That's a great point. That's exactly what I was going to say. For men, it's fairly difficult to sleep with women. For women, it's very easy. Like, no guys, you're not going to get congratulated for sleeping with a guy. That's easy. You'll get congratulated for retaining a guy.
You'll get the congratulations for like the
no.
He wants to be my boyfriend, but
women's,
not for the...
So when it comes to the dating marketplace, the women's framework of success is retaining a high value guy.
Yeah.
The quality of the guy that you can retain. If you can sleep with 30 dudes, I mean, that's not, but they never talk to you again, that's not really like impressive. But as a guy, if you can sleep with 30 women, that's kind of impressive, because you must be bringing something to the table. Either you're just really good looking dude, you're confident, you're charismatic, you've got status, or you're wealthy. All these things. As a woman, you don't really need any of those things, even including looks, to sleep with a guy. Even unremarkable women can run circles around like top tier looking guys in terms of looks, in terms of just getting laid, in terms of just having sex. So the sort of metrics are a little bit different. But it's hard for dudes to get laid. And as far as...
Which is why I think it's a lie on like equality. So like if feminism means equality, then that means it's good for a man to sleep with 50 girls and it's good for a girl to sleep with 50 guys. Like that's where like it just breaks down. That's where I feel like feminism like lies to girls when they say it's empowering. It's like good for you to what? Like give in to this like ego, like this sense of validation. Like why don't you find your self-worth like within yourself of like what you're doing, not like how many like bodies you have. Like that is just like so foreign.
Well, I don't know if anyone thinks of feminism as like your body count, because like that doesn't like seem...
I think a lot of people do. I think a lot of hookup culture and like a lot of like women who participate in hookup culture like do like the staple of feminism is like
sexual
I said
liberation.
It earlier, the staple of feminism is seen as like how promiscuous it's acting out your sexual freedom.
I'd have to like disagree in a way. It's not acting out the sexual freedom, but more the ability to do that, because back in the day feminism, like when things were rising, like women weren't even allowed to do that stuff, kind of be able to be promiscuous in that way.
Well,
And like
feminism was created, it was in the 60s, and it was like because they couldn't like get jobs and like.
Well, okay, I mean, feminism has been going on, I believe, since the late 1800s. You guys can look up the Seneca Falls Convention. There's all kinds of directions we can go with that one, but one of the components of feminism beyond just, okay, you had in the early 1900s, you know, there was suffrage, women wanting to secure the vote, and then equal access to the workplace. But a big component of feminism was sort of sexual liberation. So that I think, yes, you're right to say that there's a sexual component to feminism, sexual liberation.
And I mean, either way, I'm just talking about feminism right now in terms of hookup culture. I'm not talking about 1800s feminism, rights to vote, right for divorce. That's not what we're talking about here. I just brought up the point that I feel like modern day feminism is lying to girls when they say sleeping around is empowering you. That's all I was like saying.
I just think it's dumb that like guys are congratulated for like hooking up with a girl, but then like if a girl were to like tell like her friends that, she'd probably be called like a whore or something. But like I used to hang out with these people over the summer, and like this guy, he'd always be like, oh yeah, I just got with this chick, like blah blah blah, and his friends would be like, oh, like good job. But then there was this one girl that was like participating in hookup culture, and they would just like call her a whore and like shame her all the time. And then she would just like come over and they'd be like, hey, oh my God, you're here, like we missed you, and act like they never said that.
Yeah, and like the equality thing, like I don't think it's like feminism is lying to women saying that that's empowering. I think that the actual issue is that men are still judging women for that, whereas it's not the equality. And like if we never reach that level of equality, yeah, it's going to be looked down upon for women, but that's the change that kind of needs to happen, and it's not going to anytime soon. I can guarantee that.
So you don't think that men should judge women if they have a promiscuous past?
Well, I think like men can, yes, that is your own choice, but only if you're going to follow those same standards for yourself. If you're going to hold yourself to those same standards. Don't be a man with 100+ body count looking for a girl with 3 bodies, you know? That's just not fair. Like if you are a guy that wants to stay to yourself, only hook up with a few people, little to none, find a girl that's that same way, that's fine, that's for you. But if you're a guy that's hooking up with a lot of girls, don't judge a girl because she's done the same. That's just where the inequality comes into play.
Yeah, but it's not only men that like slut shame. Like it can be like anyone. It can be like girls as well. Like,
yeah,
even
girls
your
as
friends.
well. I'm just talking relationship wise. Like if we're talking about somebody that you're choosing, choose somebody that's like you. Then don't judge somebody because they're not like you. That's just where things turn wrong.
I would actually, on Ella's point there, I would actually say that while men do slut shame, it's probably actually women who slut shame more.
Interesting. I don't know how I feel about that.
I haven't experienced that personally.
Yeah. Really?
No, I haven't experienced that girls.
If you're talking, okay.
I haven't experienced
Hold
that
on.
girls like slut shame more than guys. I haven't experienced that. No.
Like
Okay.
not directly, but more like if you tell me, oh yeah, my body count is blah blah, and I go to AC, but like it's always like that.
I think that's
So-
fucked up though.
I just feel like
don't be with girls like that.
Girls talk
Yeah, I
more
know.
shit than guys.
Yeah,
do.
100%.
Like girls talk way more than
I
guys.
don't
As
think
far
you
as
guys
we
have been in
know.
like a locker room. I don't know. If you're like my best friend's dating like a basketball player, like her, like that I can tell you they have slut shamed more. Like when she tells me what they talk about is the 1,000 times worse of like a slut shaming than like I've ever heard girls say.
I'll
Or it
not
doesn't
like
even
that,
have to
no.
be your friend, like someone
can
you
be
know,
anyone.
like if you're walking down the street
But sure, I agree,
and
like,
people
some
like
girls
talk,
slut
you know,
shame.
like even guys, they pillow talk, so they tell people, oh, I slept with her. So even a girl down the street, they're gonna be like, oh, I know her, she slept with this, she's a hoe, you know? So like that, like it doesn't even have to be someone close to you, someone that thinks they know something about you and you're walking.